So what was the question again? Oh, why is it called the traffic jam? Well, you know, the reason is, it's because I have two really cool cars. Seriously cool cars. And I love drifting, racing, because I am fast and slick, and plus I like to create a bit of traffic jam myself with a whole lot of great music. Bulumnaka, my name is Real, your host and DJ, right here on the Today FM Traffic Jam every weekday from 3 p.m. to 7. Right here on Today FM, today's hit music.
In this bulletin, direct flights to resume between Fiji and Solomon Islands. A heavy rain alert issued as a trough of low pressure moves over the country. And the Public Service Commission is expected to be without a chairman for the next 3 months. Good evening, Fiji. I'm Makosita Tale, and this is FBC News. Talks between the Solomon Islands and Fiji today will benefit thousands of people traveling between the two countries. Both governments have agreed to reinstate the air services agreement, which will see up to 3 flights a week from the national carriers. Chanal Sivan reports.
A joint communique was signed this morning between both the governments. Civil Aviation Minister Ayased Kayum says both the airlines are now entitled to operate 3 flights per week.
Well, you had, prior to the impasse, Solomon Islands having a direct flight from Honiara to Nadi once a week, and we had Fiji Airways flying via Villa to Honiara, and then it had wanted to increase, as per the air services agreement, an additional flight, and that's where the impasse came along. But that's obviously now been removed. We've also agreed that we will commence a meeting on the review of the air services agreement, the existing air services agreement, on the 25th of January.
Fiji Airways will now operate 1 weekly direct flight between Nadi and Honiara, departing Nadi on Saturday and returning on the same day. There will be 1 weekly flight between Nadi and Honiara via Port Vila, departing Nadi on Tuesday and returning on the same day. Solomon Airlines will operate 1 weekly direct flight between Honiara and Nadi, departing on Saturday and returns to Honiara on Sunday. Solomon's Foreign Affairs Minister Milna Tozaka met Fiji's Civil Aviation Minister this morning and says he is grateful that fruitful discussions have taken place.
And I'm so pleased that our two governments and our people, the traveling public, are looking forward for this. And I'm so grateful that this has taken us just this morning for us to talk and to agree and to sign. And this is basically what I'm here for, Minister, to complete this mission.
The two airlines can begin their flights immediately as universities begin next month. Chief Executive Officer for Fiji Airways, Stefan Peshla, has however indicated they will begin their flights in March. Solomon Airlines is yet to confirm when they will begin their flights. In the meantime, the Fijian government has agreed there will be chartered flights for Solomon students provided by the Solomon Islands government. Chanal Shivan, FBC News.
The Nadi Weather Office has issued a heavy rain alert as a trough of low pressure moves over the country today. Another low-pressure system near the Solomon Islands has the potential to develop into a tropical cyclone. Christopher Chan reports.
Heavy rain has affected most parts of the country since early this morning. The Weather Office is advising people living in low-lying areas to be vigilant.
But we have issued heavy rain alert, just to alert the people. Especially in terms of flash flooding and localized flooding because of the amount of rain that is coming down from the isolated heavy falls.
The rainy weather is expected to continue for the rest of the week, but there is a possibility of the first tropical cyclone for this season developing near the Solomons.
Projection is going to just be, if it's going to go and develop further, can go just only to category 1 or just maintain the low.
Tuinraki says their concern is on the associated rain that could affect the country should the system turn into a cyclone, as their weather models predict.
That is other concern, that we're going to continue to predict and monitor, and also on the river levels. If the rain is going to continue, we'll expect the river level to start to go up.
The Weather Office is monitoring the current weather situation and is advising the public to be cautious, especially those living in low-lying areas. Christopher Chand, FBC News.
The Public Service Commission is expected to be without a chairman for the next 3 months. Former PSC Chairman Joseph Aseri-Langilangi stepped down at the end of his term last year, citing health concerns. In response to FBC questions, the Commission has confirmed that in terms of interim measures for the chairmanship, the 2013 Constitution stipulates this is a decision of the Constitutional Officers Commission. The Constitutional Officers Commission is comprised of the Prime Minister, the Attorney General, the leader of the opposition, as well as 3 appointments by the President, 2 on the advice of the PM and 1 on the advice of the opposition leader. It's understood that the commission will only be scheduled once it's tabled in Parliament. Parliament is scheduled to resume on February 9th. Ridding society of marijuana is one of the major goals for the Fiji Police Force this year, with Operation Sasamaki in the Northern Division well underway. Speaking on FBC TV's For the Record program last night, Director of Operations Rusiate Tunravu says they have seized close to 4,000 marijuana plants. Ellen Stolz has more.
Officers who are part of the operation team are working with the crime prevention committees to establish the owners of the few farms where the plants believed to be marijuana were uprooted.
That speaks volumes of the farms that are out there. So it is a matter of concern, and should be also a nation concern to all the members of the community. If this is what has been uprooted from the farms in the concerned areas up in the peninsula of Buda and Natewa, then we are very serious into getting rid of the farms that are still pending out there, which we will look into it in our future operation.
Another concern was the number of youths that have been arrested so far in connection to the drug farms. A total of 8 suspects have appeared in court charged with the illegal cultivation of drugs. 4 have pleaded guilty, with the remaining 4 to reappear in court.
Almost all the arrests that we have made is so far is 20 to 30 in those brackets, the youths. We have noted that, and it is part also of our research and analysis in trying to find out what is the reason behind it.
Tundravu adds it is crucial that the force be up to date with the equipment to be able to combat crime.
Given the complexity of the crimes that are now encroaching into our shores, as I've stated, that the development of the government is already going at a very fast pace. Given that crime also, and the transnational crime follows that road of development, so the police force has to posture itself in order for us to meet the trend that is coming in.
Operation Sasamaki will move to other parts of the country soon. Ellen Stolz, FBC News.
The joint traffic operation between the Land Transport Authority and the Fiji Police Force has been extended until the end of the month. The operation, which came into effect on the 10th of last month, was to have ended on Saturday. Sakyus Anaivo reports.
The low rate of federal road accidents over the festive period has been attributed to a strong monitoring of traffic, as well as road users being more cautious. There was only 1 fatal accident recorded in the past month.
We are trying to keep the momentum up. We would like to have the presence of LTA out there on the road on a daily basis. We basically now realize that more visibility and more mobility of the authority, the presence of LTA on the road.
The joint operation is being carried out by the LTA and police. Officers have been deployed to ensure road users are following road rules.
So far, the issues of concern continue to be that of speeding, and of course, while we had a positive outcome of the month of December by not recording any fatalities. Unfortunately, we did record a fatality early on as the beginning of this year.
Naisoro says they are still compiling figures for traffic offences allegedly committed during the joint operation. The police force and LTA will decide at the end of the month whether there is a need to continue with the joint operation into February. In the meantime, both institutions will carry on with their public awareness campaigns about road safety. Sekusha Nebua, FBC News.
Coming up after the break, $2 million allocated for tertiary hospital in Lautoka.
Bula FM nambandua na serena iwan siningaw na dibatara ni sibiti ko weekend na diwa en na tini na miniti na may pakuriti ore bengrabe na nantang nonongo kanda na dapat ko anin rona kaloko en ay kabenden de bob ni na tagwali ni may dapat ko na wani matakabo kan lib sarti ko na bi ser tali oni na namaka ka do batit ko may kina na kinan daw ro ko di kanamaki Bula binaka ayo salamilawa do patakia wana batara na wani vio na kaloko moni tiki na barumbuka en Bula FM nambandua en serena
Welcome back to FBC News. Year 12 certificate exam results will be released tomorrow. School principals can pick up the results from the district education officers after 10:30 a.m. Principals and students of schools in the Suva area can collect their results from the examinations office from 9 a.m. More than 12,000 students sat for the exams at 166 centers. Requests for recounts must be lodged with the Director of Examinations no later than Wednesday next week. There is a recount fee of $5 per subject. The government is undertaking a large investment to establish a top-class tertiary hospital in Lautoka. $2 million has been initially allocated for this program. Savera Tamboa has more details.
Specialized services are currently only available at CWM Hospital in Suva. The training of health professionals who can provide these services are also carried out in Suva.
Tertiary level services. You know, right now we have the higher level services that are only available in CWM. There might be some other specialist ones that need to be provided there. Like areas like oncology, with cancer, we don't have at the moment in Fiji. That is something that we're looking at developing, MRIs and other.
This will change in the next few years as health professionals will be trained at the new Lautoka Hospital. The training will be provided in conjunction with the Fiji National University's medical school.
It's a great advantage for us because it allows us to train our people at higher, at more complex types of medical services and health services. That's something that's always important for the development of our nurses, doctors, and all of our other, what you call them, allied health workers. So that's something that we're looking forward to commence from this year.
Once construction is completed, the hospital will provide advanced medical and surgical services. Medical services at the tertiary hospital will be provided free of charge to those households with income less than $20,000 and to all retirees, irrespective whether they are on pension or not. Sabera Tambua, FBC News.
Assistant Minister for Health Vina Bhatnagar has started her tour of the Western Division in Singatoka today. She met with a handful of residents who attended the public consultation at the Singatoka Town Council this morning. The visit to Singatoka is part of reforms by government to improve healthcare and medical services. Bhatnagar later visited the Singatoka Hospital and met with the hospital's board of visitors. She will have a similar public consultation in Nandi tomorrow morning. The National Fire Authority is concerned that the number of arson cases in 2014 shows an increase over the 2013 total. NFA Chief Executive Officer John O'Connor says there were 32 reports of arson last year. Shireen Lata has more.
The National Fire Authority has seen a growing trend in arson cases. Family problems, domestic violence cases and personal grudges have resulted in setting someone's house on fire to exact revenge.
23% is arson cases, where families have had disputes. As a result of the dispute, the property has been set on fire, or the family, the home is empty and somebody else comes and set fire. So automatically, if we all change our mindset and take fire safety seriously, we can eliminate 75% of the property fires that happened last year. And that's the challenge for us, to try and get the message across to members of the community.
According to the National Fire Service Amendment Decree 2009, anyone found guilty of destroying another's property will be liable for prosecution. And while the challenge remains in changing the mindset of people towards reducing fires, the NFA is more focused on educating children through fire safety classes in schools.
I went to an awareness campaign in Nakasi and Arere. There was so many, but when I asked questions on what to do, the children were responding because they were going through the program in schools. The issue is that it's no use if the children are aware, whether adults don't take fire safety seriously, and we believe it has to start from the homeowners, adults of the family.
144 cases of structural fires were recorded last year. Sharin Lata, FBC News.
The outgoing Chinese ambassador to Fiji, Huang Yong, today received an Order of Fiji award from President Ratu Epeli Nailatikau. The award is being given to Huang for his distinguished service to Fiji. His 3-year term in Fiji has ended, and he's been commended by the government for helping strengthen relations between the two countries. During his tenure, the number of scholarships for studying in China increased, visa exemption was introduced, the Chinese president visited Fiji, and more Chinese tourists came to our shores. Huang is due to return to China soon. We turn to sports now. Here's Jamie with the latest.
Thank you, Akasita, and good evening. In sports after the break, suspended footballer Josefo Verovo hopes to make a return to the Fiji Under-20 World Cup side. And despite leading its pool at the Netball World Cup, the Fiji Pearls believe they still face a tough task. These stories and more coming up.
Gold FM, only the classic hits. Beautiful song from the group Firehouse and When I Look Into Your Eyes. Before that, you heard from Smokey Robinson with One Heartbeat. We'll take a short break and join us in the next hour for more music from Seal. Bulabanaka. I'm DJ Tora. Join me every weekdays, 7 until midnight on the Premium Classics. Right here on Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Welcome back. Suspended Fiji Under-20 rep Josefo Verovo is hoping for a miracle in his quest to return to national duties. The 18-year-old says his time away from football has been painful, but has enabled him to reflect on the error of his ways. Verovo is hoping that the right pieces will fall into place as he chases a dream call-up, the Fiji's maiden appearance in the Under-20 FIFA World Cup in New Zealand in July. Tsale Ndadakadaka reports.
If the green light shows up, I'm ready.
Josefo Verovo is on a mission to reclaim his spot in the Vodafone Fiji Under-20 side. The talented striker was suspended last year for breaking camp and admits he has learned his lesson.
Well, missing out on football. It was an heartbreaker for me because this was my passion, football. But the thing I've done, I know that I've learned.
Verovo was initially suspended from all levels of football for 3 years and fined $5,000. An arbitration hearing late last year reduced Verovo's fine to $3,360 and suspended until July this year. Rewa Football Association has confirmed to FBC Sports that it will pay the fine and push for the suspension to be lifted.
I want to thank the official of Rewa. Things they've been doing for me. Well, when I was suspended, I thought that it was the end of myself, but I didn't know that they are very supportive. They've been supporting me throughout the, even though I wasn't playing, but they supported me throughout the season.
Once the fine is cleared, the only thing on Verovo's mind will be on how to reclaim his spot in the national team. the soft-spoken lad admits he is ready to put aside all doubts and help the side in its World Cup campaign. Chalendo Dakavak, FBC Sports.
Meanwhile, the first game of the champion versus champion between Suva and Ba will be played on Sunday in the capital at 3 p.m. Fiji Pearls netball coach Kate Carpenter says being the top-ranked team in its pool at the 2015 World Netball Championship will not mean a thing. The national side is ranked 7th in the world and is pooled alongside 8th-placed Wales, Uganda on 13th and Zambia on 18th. Carpenter says the team will not rely on its higher ranking to reach the second stage and will have to fight hard just like any other team in the competition.
It is a good pool for us, but we're also aware, because we haven't played teams for a while, that we're not quite sure of their strengths, so we have to keep track of them as we progress through to August.
Meanwhile, the Fiji Pearls march into camp today as it prepares to host the Oceania Tri-Series tournament against the Silver Ferns and Samoa in Suva next week. Fijian Viliame Ambaki continues his impressive bowling form despite the East Asia Pacific team remaining winless at the Australian Country Cricket Championships. Ambaki claimed 2 wickets for 28 in their 3-wicket loss against Victoria Country yesterday. The EAP side is out of contention for the title after having lost 3 and drawn 1. The team is currently playing in New South Wales country. Meanwhile, the winner of the championships will be confirmed after the last round of matches later tonight. While the task of selecting the final 12 players from a big squad is a headache for most Sevens coaches, this is something exciting for national coach Ben Ryan. Ryan will have to mull over who to drop and who to bring in, but says this is a luxury for him compared to what some other nations are facing. Indra Singh has more.
Vodafone Fiji Sevens coach Ben Ryan is a happy man to have at his disposal some of the best talent. That is a good start to his 2015 compared to what some other nations are going through.
You know, when I look around the world and some teams are struggling to get their squads together for these 2 tournaments with 6 nations, under 20s in Europe, we're in a healthy position.
Ryan has not lost any players from his squad this time around as the build-up to the Wellington Sevens continues. And he has again reminded the fans and critics alike that while things didn't go their way in Dubai and South Africa, the Fijians are amongst the top bunch.
No, it's not doom and gloom. We're standing second in the world. We're down to play. If things go our way, we're probably down to have a clash with South Africa before the final in Wellington. We've got a very hard quarter-final probably against the New Zealand or England side. The good news is that means we can really push ourselves ahead of those teams in Wellington and Vegas.
The issue of bonus payments and other off-the-field issues has long plagued the national side, but Ryan says his reps are all about playing rugby.
Certainly, you know, the boys are focused, you know, and happy with everything that's going on at the moment.
The side returns to camp tomorrow before the reduced squad is named on Friday. While some will miss out, it is just a sign of what talent is available in the country when it comes to the abbreviated code. Indra Singh, FBC Sports.
That was your sports for this evening. It's back to Akasita now with business.
A Fiji Airways flight bound for Apia, Samoa from Nadi last night had to turn back after pilots detected an anomaly in one of the aircraft's engines. The pilots turned back as a precautionary measure after a slight shift in one of the engine parameters was detected in flight. Managing Director and CEO Stefan Pichler said Fiji Airways would not compromise on safety. He said the engine parameters were still well within the manufacturer's limits and the captain made the decision to bring the aircraft back to Nadi only as a precaution. The plane landed without incident and all passengers are being accommodated in Nadi. The incident came in the wake of another 4 days ago where fumes inside the cabin of a Boeing 737-800 aircraft forced the pilot of an Auckland flight to turn back 15 minutes after taking off from Nadi. Cloud and showers affected most parts of the country today. A low-pressure system lies slow-moving south of Fiji. Associated trough of low pressure affects Fiji, Tonga and Vanuatu. Maximum temperatures range from 25 to 30 degrees at 3 p.m. today. Lautoka at the lowest at 25, while the northern towns of Lambasa and Sabu Sabu recorded 30 degrees. Tomorrow's forecast: occasional rain and few thunderstorms over most places. Isolated heavy falls expected, poor visibility in areas of heavy rain and thunderstorms. Outlook for Wednesday: showers easing over most places. Recapping our main stories, Fiji and Solomon Islands have agreed to reinstate the air services agreement, which will see up to 3 flights a week from the national carriers. The Nandi Weather Office has issued a heavy rain alert as a trough of low pressure moves over the country today, and Year 12 certificate exam results will be released tomorrow. To our poll segment and the results from last week's question, which was, will your back to school shopping cost less this year? 55% said no. This week we ask, should full banking services be made available on Saturdays? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via our Facebook page FBC News, or if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply #FBC News. That's our news for today. Join us again tomorrow. Bye for now.